Imagine you are studying for an exam. The year has just started and you know that you better study a bit every day if you want to come prepared for the exam. Except that after a while your enthusiasm vanishes and you skip a day of studying, then 2, then 3. Before you know it, you find yourself 3 days before the exam with 500 pages left to study, at which point you panic and start studying day and night trying to make up for all the time you lost. Have you ever found yourself in this situation? If you are a human being, then the answer is most likely yes. Maybe not when studying, but perhaps you have found yourself putting off an important phone call for weeks, or putting off an activity like going to the gym or sitting down to work. This behavior has a name: procrastination, the act of delaying or postponing a task. Easy enough to understand, much harder to overcome. Lucky for you, in this video we have put together 5 tips to help you solve a problem that affects all of us. Let's take a look at them. When fighting procrastination, the hardest part is starting the task we keep postponing. Once you have started it, doing it is much easier. Our first tip is the so-called 2-minute rule. It consists of dividing tasks into shorter versions that are less than 2 minutes long. This rule was developed by James Clear, author of Atomic Habits. In his blog, he gives some clear examples of how to apply this rule. If you're planning a 3-kilometer run, don't actually focus on those 3 kilometers. Use the 2-minute rule and focus on picking up your running shoes, putting them on, and tying your laces. As soon as you've done this small task, starting the run becomes much easier. Another example: if you plan to do yoga for 30 minutes, forget about the actual time. Simply focus on picking up your yoga mat and standing on it. Do you need to write a script for a YouTube video on procrastination? Don't focus on the hundreds of words you have to write. Focus on opening the document and writing the first sentence. If you are watching this video, then this is empirical proof that the 2-minute rule actually works. It's easy to see why. Starting an activity is often the hardest part, and now becomes much easier and quicker. Another effective strategy consists of combining short-term pleasurable tasks with tasks that are boring but more useful in the long run. Listening to a podcast when you go for a run at the park, or having breakfast at your favorite cafe on the condition that while you're there, you'll send those important emails. The goal is to link a task we perceive as boring or arduous with an instant reward. Of course, it works better if the 2 tasks, the pleasant one and the useful one, are greatly different and they don't require too much mental effort. Reading a sci-fi novel while studying maths is probably not going to work. Another way to keep ourselves from procrastinating is to make the consequences of our actions instant. The reason why it's so easy to postpone studying when the exam is 3 months away is because the consequences of our actions are also far away. To prevent this problem, it can be useful to do these tasks with someone else. For example, if I'm expected to go running every morning at 7 with my friend Lucy, I have one more reason to commit to it, besides the fact that I'll be in great shape 3 months from now. Moreover, if I don't show up at 7 in the morning at the park, I'll break a promise, disappoint my friend, and force her to run alone. This will encourage me much more than just thinking about my physical health months or even years in the future. Getting into healthy habits around studying, work, or exercise can be much easier if you find someone else to do them with, and commit to a routine. James Clear also suggests the Ivy Lee method. It consists of 5 simple steps. At the end of each working day, write down the 6 most important things you have to do the next day. 2. Prioritize these tasks in order of their importance. 3. The next day, focus exclusively on the first task. Work until you've completed it and only then move on to the next. 4. Work your way through the list in the same way. At the end of the day, move each task you haven't completed to a new list for the next day. 5. Repeats for every working day. This method is incredibly effective for 4 reasons. It's very simple and easy to follow every day, even during rough periods. It forces you to focus on those few tasks that are really important and so makes the best use of your time and energy. It spares you the problem of choosing what to work on. If you already have a list of tasks from the day before, you already know what the first task is going to be as soon as you start your day. You just have to get on with it. And finally, it forces you to work on one task at a time and removes the temptation to engage in the inefficient habit of multitasking. Our last tip is perhaps the most important. So far, we've talked about how to avoid procrastinating, which might lead us to think that when we are procrastinating, we are somehow defective. But it's important to understand that procrastinating is normal. It is an inherently human behavior, and as long as we remain human, we'll probably never get rid of it. For this reason, the most useful thing we can do isn't finding the urge to procrastinating through sheer force of will, but to develop strategies and habits that keep the urge to procrastinate at bay. We hope the tips in this video will help you with any task you need to do. If you like this video, hit a like, subscribe to School of Thinking, and let us know in the comments which topics you'd like us to cover in the future. We will see you in the next video.